for this. Okay, yes, proper hydration. We have to be properly hydrated getting ready for this segment. And I think Dell is going snagglepuss here. Exit stage right with what happened in the midweek. And we bring in our buddy Michael Parkhurst, who knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Good morning, John, and a special good morning to Mr. Dell as well.
Yeah, he was concerned. He was wondering if you were coming in this morning, considering what happened in the midweek with the 3-0 result. And he was like, yeah, I might have to exit stage right even, and head out. Did you get a chance to watch that match?
I sure did.
So what are some of your takeaways, sir, about weekend, midweek, and getting a large result that you need right now in USL Championship?
Yeah, it was really good to get that result. We did need it badly. And the scoreline was a little deceiving. It was not a 4-0 game. It was actually a lot tighter than that.
Oh, come on. It was a blowout, and you know it was.
But for once, we finished our chances, a lot of them. So that was really nice. And, we played on the counterattack. It seems like oftentimes when we have less than 40% of the ball, we win games. So, data, I guess, doesn't lie in the end. So Charleston dominated the ball, but we counterattacked really well. We took advantage of some opportunities, and Charleston had some opportunities, but we just either made saves or made blocks, or they missed the goal. So it was an entertaining game for sure, but it was a big win. We needed that one, and it's always nice to score goals in front of your home fans.
Mm-hmm. So when you get a result like this, and you're dealing with a positive result coming off of, and most times going into play in a compressed schedule, it's a challenge to fight through and get the result that you're looking for. And at the same time, you can't really dwell on it. It's like, yeah, it's cool and everything, but it's been processed and we've got to sit there and focus on the next thing. There's no real chance to enjoy it and understand its place because you got to move on to the next. Literally, it's like, all right, it's done. We got to put it over here and focus on the next. There's no time to sit there and go, man, we did something cool and we needed to do that. Now you've got to build on it and you don't have time to think about building on it.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it that night and that evening, and you enjoy yourself, and you sleep well, not having a stress about that performance. So I think everybody, coaching staff, players, probably slept really well on Wednesday nights, which is helpful. But yeah, of course, we've got another game this weekend. I think we've got a cup game, USL Cup. So we play the rival Hartford away this weekend. But yeah, to Dell's point, I was looking forward to watching Kisiedu play. Obviously, having spent time with him in Atlanta, I was looking to see how he was doing there for Charleston, but he was injured early, unfortunately.
Sorry, I was getting hydrated and caffeinated while you were talking. When you came down this past weekend, first and foremost, very, very selfishly, it was good to see you and actually be within, like touching range. It's like, oh, there's Michael Parkhurst. It's like to see you in person. It was very cool. What was it like for you to be back with the clinic and everything?
Yeah, it's always good to be back. I hadn't been to a AU home game in a while, actually. So it was good to be back in the building, see a game, see a lot of faces that I hadn't seen in a while, which is always nice to reconnect with some people that had some good years with. So productive and enjoyable weekend, result aside.
Right. And obviously we'll get into that in a bit, but I want to get into the productive part. The off the field stuff. So you go wandering out. You have the audience there, and I imagine it was probably about 8 or 9 different trumpeters on each side, with your guard of honor as you're walking out onto the field, and you're getting ready for everything there. So it was a chance for you, obviously, to give back. But what was it, for you? To be in those kinds of situations, what was it like to be able to have that kind of an audience as you continue to grow things with Greg at Beyond Goals?
Yeah, it's always amazing to be back in front of fans and in the building, and I'm always heartwarmed by the reception I receive and the recognition, and people just saying hello and everything. So that happened a couple times in the stadium that night, and it's always really nice. And so always so good to be back, for
Yeah.
sure.
And then when you get to now, when you're in the building, and I mean, this is outside of doing clinics and things like that. When you come back to Atlanta, do you get the fan questions? Do you actually get soccer questions about, from dads and moms and kids and things like that, or is it just specifically soccer? Would you like to answer soccer questions about their youngsters and things like that, and helping them grow the game? Would you like to have a de facto Beyond Goals clinic as you're walking into? It's like, yes, I'm open to answering questions about your child and mentoring. I'm open to that too. How does that work? Is it all just Atlanta United questions, or do they actually ask mentoring questions?
Mm, More Atlanta United and
Okay.
just life. I'm always happy to talk
Yeah.
mentoring stuff,
Yeah.
but more more other stuff,
Okay.
honestly. So I mean, I did get to a couple Atlanta United Academy games, which was nice,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
see the next generation play a little bit. They look good.
Mhm.
I'm always shocked by all the talent that's out there. So that's great. It's still there, and it's more reinforcements for future years
Mhm.
down the line.
Mhm. When you get to go and visit Atlanta United, do you take information? I mean, is it strictly just for you between the ears? Is it one of those things where I'm going to enjoy myself here, and then I look at the U18s and the U16s, and I'm going, man, it got this coming along? Or do you take action that you're looking at on the field, file it away, and does that help you with Beyond Goals when it comes to your mentoring? Do you take examples? Do you take screenshots in your head about things that you see
Mhm.
on the field and in practice and things, and file that away for later? Or do
No,
you just enjoy yourself?
I'm the purpose of it was just to go and enjoy, see what the level was like,
Right.
be around.
Yeah.
So that was what I was focused on. If there's ever something where I'm watching a game and I see something, of course, then I'll kind of put a note in the back of my head, or write it down on my phone or something to talk about with mentees. But um, nothing occurred like that in
Okay.
the games that I watched. It's really just for me to see what the level is like, because you know I'm a, I see some mentees games here and there, but it's always tough to judge things. And that Atlanta United's going to be one of the top level teams in the area at any given age group. So now I know, okay, this is the baseline here of how you can compare everybody.
Okay. And when you're writing things on your phone, do you actually take the pen and sit there and do it like this? Do you take
Oh,
the
wow.
do you take the pen and sit there and write it on your phone? Because I know I do. I mean, that's what. Uh,
That's very fancy. I didn't even know I could have a pen on my phone, John.
I had a stylus on one of my old BlackBerries, and it drove me crazy because it would never take the writing that it's like I'm trying to write something, and then the stylus would not write what I was trying to write, and I'd have to write it like over and over again, and then you'd have to go back, 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 back because it would be a mess, and you don't understand what you're writing. So, like I said, I was curious. Um, when it's playoff time here,
It
and
is.
in the state of Georgia, and I have all of my brackets. This is the time of year where literally it is like brackets and fill them out and write in pen, and it's like who's doing what and going all over the place. When it comes to, do you ever get like emergency mentoring sessions? It's like, do people sit there like in a crunch situation? Do you get emergency calls about things like, whatever pops into a mentee's mind? Hey, I need to step in outside of my normal, pattern of catching up with you because of something that might be going on in a postseason situation.
Here and there. So I had a call on, when was it, Tuesday night? Because he had a playoff game on Wednesday,
Hmm.
I think. Yeah, that sounds right. The playoff game on Wednesday, a big game. Really nervous about it. So we connected on Tuesday night and spoke about it. And so yeah, it definitely happens. And we had a great session. And he texted me the next day, and they lost the game, but they were playing a team that was very highly ranked in the state, and So it was not a surprise that they lost, but they only lost 1-0. He was a defender, and he said he played really well. So I was thrilled for him, and yeah, always available to help out in the last minute crunch if I
So
can.
yeah, and so is it when they call in these crunch situations, is it just double checking and reaffirmation of previous things, or do new things pop up? Is it new concerns, or what in these 911 calls that you get in the Beyond Goals 911 booth, and you pick up the phone? Is it new stuff? Or is it reaffirmation mainly?
It's probably more reaffirmations, but just talking through things, right? Like, hey, why are you nervous? Like, what's the worst that can happen? Right? What about, so you're thinking about all these negative things of what could happen, but what about the positive, right? What if you guys go out there and win, right? What if you go into the locker room 0-0 at halftime? Who's under more pressure?
Mhm.
Um, and just letting them know, like, even the top teams feel the pressure, right? The pressure's on them to win, actually. I talk about my time at Wake Forest. We were number one going into the NCAA tournament every year I was there. And, we never made it to an Elite Eight. And so upsets happen, and top teams are nervous too. So, don't think that just because you're an underdog, you guys are the only nervous ones. No. So we talk through some of that stuff and normalize it, and, try and give them some confidence.
Well, and does it are the phone calls, or the sessions, or the 911 sessions, are they usually short with reaffirmations, or do you have to kind of remind your mentee over time? It's like you have to try and draw it out of them. Is it a quick reaffirmation most of the time, or do you have to kind of sit there and walk them through, hey, it's okay to be nervous, because nervous, if it's channeled correctly, nervous can be a good thing for you.
Totally.
Mhm.
And usually it's players that I've worked with before, so it's a little shorter, and,
Okay.
just talking about this specific situation and not like confidence in general and in the long run, right? I'm just trying to help them in a very quick situation be at their best for tomorrow, before we could talk about big picture stuff. So, or revisit big picture stuff. So it's really just kind of a couple small things of, what to do with nerves, how to approach tomorrow, like what are you going to eat, and what are you going to think about on the way to the game, and those types of little things.
So when let me ask you this. It's a two-step thing. You open the door here. When you are you do you still get nervous even though you're not playing anymore? Whether it's through a mentoring session, whether it's, public appearances, those kinds of things, do you still get that same kind of nervous energy even though it's not on the field anymore, it's now doing this next stage? Or are you the most confident person on the planet and you're just kinda like, "Yeah, man, I've got all this."
No, I mean, even confident people get nervous, but I think I get a little bit nervous when I'm doing not so much team talks anymore, because Greg and I have done enough where it's we're in a good system and everything. But if I were to do like a company talk or something, I'd probably be a little nervous before that, or speaking in front of a big engagement. I'm pretty comfortable, but I'd still be a little nervous before something like that. And I tell people that Rhode Island FC has brought into me a feeling that I haven't had in a long time, which is a real feeling of care. And I think with that comes a little nervousness of watching their games,
Mhm.
because, when I watch Atlanta United, I want them to win, of course, but I don't get nervous about it. But for Rhode Island, I do a little bit. I think just obviously being more than just connected. So I do for those games.
You're invested, and I mean that literally and figuratively because
Yeah.
of all of the effort that you've put into this, and, uh, I will admit that I still get nervous when I go on the air for anything, because if you're not nervous, then the importance of the moment is lost on you, and every
Hmm.
moment like that is important to someone somewhere about something that you're doing. And so
Totally.
that's why for me, it's like I still get the nervous moments in my stomach. I still have to take a walk a little bit, to kind of back time my life and everything. It's like, okay, if I've got to be here by this, then I've got to be ready here. But I still get nervous about doing these kinds of things because you don't want to let yourself down because of all the prep that you've made, and you don't
Hmm.
want to let everyone else down around you that is a part of that team that's there, and you don't want to let the audience down because of their time that they've invested in you to be a part of what they're doing. So it's almost three separate things that you've got to juggle when it comes to this nervousness and the expectation of the moment.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, Tiger Woods used to say if he didn't feel a little bit nervous before a Sunday, he wasn't going to play as well or be as locked in. Right? He welcomed it and wanted it, and so yeah, there's absolutely something to feeling a little bit nervous that gets us on top of our A game or can get us on top of our A game.
All right, so then let me ask you this. When was the last time that you were nervous?
I don't know, 20th minute against Charleston on Wednesday night.
Shoot, well, and that's when you have that different kind of nervous now. When you're Rhode Island nervous,
Hmm.
is it literally a different kind of nervous than it was when you were whether you're watching Atlanta United, being a part of it as a player? How different a nervous is it?
It's a different nervous because you have no control over it. Right.
What's that like?
Being a fan or being on the sideline, it's way more nerve-wracking. Honestly, it's one of I don't know if I could do coaching just because of that. I
But you
used
do
to
mentoring, and mentoring is coaching.
yes, but this is lessons and, there's no immediate result going on, and I can control
Ah,
some of it a little bit, right? I can control the messaging and what they're receiving out there on the field. I mean, coaches, they do the work beforehand, but and they can make some adjustments, but it's on the players. And so yeah, it used to be the worst when I was as a pro, if I was either on the bench or if I was at home watching because I didn't travel or injured or something. That was rough. That's super nerve-wracking. So, this is sorta like that. I'm not that nervous, but I definitely get my heart rate up. I definitely yell at the TV here and there. So,
so you're saying we need to have an ISO camera on you in the house someplace when there's a Rhode Island game on and you're in your office and you're pacing back and forth nervously and screaming at the television. That's what we're saying.
well, there's no pacing, that's for sure, but I'm on the couch with some animated words of choice, leaving
Colorful,
my mouth.
colorful metaphors, sir. Are they colorful metaphors?
Some similes thrown in there, yeah, some
Yes.
haikus.
Let's see now a Parky angry haiku, that would be something.
That would be something.
It was 434, whatever it is. I think whenever you come up with an angry Parky haiku for Beyond Goals, I think that'd be epic. And have that as part of the Beyond Goals mentoring handbook. It's like, okay, you have to come up with an angry haiku for your mentees. That's how this rolls. Michael
Mm.
Parkhurst hanging out with us here for the Friday Free Kick, as he has probably sprinted in from a workout and going, "Oh my God, Nelson sent me an email this morning. What am I going to do?" And
She's getting early workout in this morning, but, no, I was actually catching up on midweek MLS action,
oh,
watching highlights and clipping stuff. So, that's what I was doing this
how?
morning.
All right. So what was the one thing that you found that was there one thing that you were clipping the most and sitting there and saying, okay, commonality here, or was it moment because it affects different mentees?
2 things that stood out that I clipped today was, 1, in the New York City Cincinnati game, I think his name's Ojeda, a winger for New York City. He
Mhm.
had a big chance for in just beginning of the second half on an acute angle, and Celentano stuck a foot out, and he saved it. He had almost the exact same angle and opportunity, like 15 minutes later, and he raised the ball a little bit, and it went over Celentano's leg and into the back of the net. And so it's a good example of, hey, you need to pick up information, you need to learn from things that happen in a game and adjust. And he did it and he scored. So that was one. And then the second one, and I've seen a couple clips now, is center back positioning on crosses and not getting pulled out and leaving space in behind you. It's I saw a few different ones where it's like, ugh.
Mhm.
Of course, center back stuff gets me, and
Mhm.
I'm like debating in my head. LA, I don't know how much MLS action you watch, but
Entirely too much, but sure.
LA Galaxy will not win more games than not if Yoshida continues to play center back for them.
Okay.
I so many clips I see of him just mind-boggling, and I think that he's pretty good on the ball, and I see he's a very good leader. I would assume, um, and he's good in the air. But goodness me,
When it comes to set piece positioning and things like that, obviously it's a learned behavior with tape and everything. And uh, when you're trying to defend against that guy, capital T, capital G, and you know that he's going to be working down a wing and there's going to be a pass that you're going to have to defend, or there's going to be a corner or a set piece that that guy is going to be front and center on. When it comes to study during the week, whether it's, I mean, and out on the field is one thing because you're looking at learned behaviors and things like that. How much film study would you get into as a player when you know that the opposition had that guy, capital T, capital G, that you were going to have to close down first and foremost so you could be successful? How much film study did you do on the stars of the game, knowing that they were going to be trying to do what they do in a given week?
yeah. I
Was it
mean,
more on the field for you and knowing behaviors and tendencies, or did you do, or was it film study against the stars of the game that you knew were coming into your barn that you had to prep for?
no matter who it was, I was watching film for sure. And honestly, players that I had played against more often, I watched less film on
Mhm.
because I knew already. It's in my memory bank of tendencies they like to do, runs they make to they like to make in the box. Those are things that I'm looking at when I'm watching film. Is how do they like to get to goal? How do they like to score their goals? What do they do in and around the box? Um, what runs do they like to make? Those types of things. So I don't need to see, somebody that's good in the air. I don't need to see them head the ball 10 times, right? But I do like to see, are they doing it more at the near post? Are they doing it more at the back post? Is their movement really good? Or is it just that they can jump really well, right? What's going to help me give myself the best chance to help defend this guy? And, if you're playing against somebody like Kai Kamara, you know he can jump through a roof. So it's, hey, if you get into this situation, there's limited things you can do, right? It's preventing that situation, keeping a high line, and trying to block crosses, but that's dependent on teammates.
Pulling down his shorts.
Yeah, otherwise, yeah, you just get into the body, make him jump over you, and make it as difficult as possible. Because I know that I'm not just going to jump up against Kai Kamara. That's stupid. It's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
But if I just run into him and he has to then jump over me and fall and that type of thing, maybe it throws off his header a little bit. That's one thing I talk with defenders a lot about is you're not going to be able to prevent everything and block every shot and do everything perfectly. Sometimes it's a matter of making it as difficult as possible, knowing that they are still going to get their shot off, still might score, but make it as difficult as possible in that moment.
Man talks disruption when he's talking about stars. When you're talking about this kind of stuff with defenders and mentees, do you give them tape to reference from MLS? Do you have them look at their opponents? How do you sit there and say, okay, focus on your high school tape, or look at MLS guys, look at ABC, look at this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy to help you out? When it comes to reference material, where do you go?
Yeah, I'll try and if they share video with me, then I'll look at their own video and we'll talk through things together. But otherwise, if not, or even in addition to, I'll show them stuff from MLS or NWSL,
Okay.
because obviously it's at a higher level than they're currently at, but it's the same type of things. It's the same space, and a lot of it is just reading space and knowing, okay, hey, when a center back steps out and there's a huge gap, fill in the gap a little bit. Don't be standing next to your guy. He's going to run right past you type things. And if I see it in MLS, I sure know it's happening to 16-year-olds.
I feel like, man, all of a sudden, I just have this Michael Parkhurst version of the baseball bunch that needs to be taped every single time out, where you're like, Fred McGriff or Johnny Bench or Tommy Lasorda or whoever it was back in the day when you bring in your stars and everything, and they're walking you through everything. Literally, it's like the Beyond Goals bunch. It's turn it into its own video series. All right, before you get out of here, I have to ask. Atlanta United had a 1-0 lead, gives up 2 goals in 5. 2-1 loss. You go from a position of strength to a position of fighting, and then really having to fight up a big hill. You're getting the chances, but you're getting into the 18, but you're not finishing chances, getting shots. What are you looking at when you're seeing Atlanta United these days?
Yeah, it was tough on Saturday. That's for sure. I thought, Nashville was there for the taking in the first half, and so we didn't do enough to take advantage of that. Because you let a good team like that stick around and you just know it's coming. So, I think that was disappointing. We didn't do enough to really push things and get in behind and really take it to him in the first half. And that's what happens. And I saw the arguments that were happening at the very end of the game. And I thought, some of that is really good. And some of that is like, oof, I'm not surprised, but it'll be interesting to see how things go from here. And to see them come out and have a good performance overall against New England was refreshing and good. So it's possible in there still. And so I think that after that game, right, I think unfortunately you're in a time period where you have to take positives even from a loss. And try and build off of that because it's really fragile right now, really fragile. And, I think that the hopes of even making it to the playoffs right now are so low in my mind that now it's kind of like, gosh, can you just not finish towards the bottom? And can we kind of, I don't know, get back to some semblance of respect within the league? So that game shows that it's there. But we're still so far away from where we need to be.
And of course, you open up another door for me, and it's time for you to go and actually have a weekend and have plans and everything as you get ready for Cup, and then you got Birmingham coming in after that for Rhode Island FC. And yes, I do wear the gear around here, and everybody sits there and goes, "Ooh, look at that." That is the fun part. As always, my friend, it's great to see you. Thanks for putting up with all of my golden retriever brain questions when it comes to everything involving Beyond Goals. It's great to see you, my friend. Glad you were down here. It was great to see you.
Likewise.
And all of that stuff. And don't be a stranger. Come and crash anytime, and all that stuff. And just go have a weekend. We'll catch up soon.
Thanks, John. You as well.